Good day, our viewers. We have another fabulous guest, Dr. Jason Richardson, with us today. He's a world champion, Pan Am gold medalist, Olympian psychologist, and also a leader when it comes to coaching. So thank you for joining us, Dr. Richardson. Give us an introduction. Let us know what you're doing, where you are, and what did you get gold medal in?
Okay, so I feel like I need to not say anything now because you did such a good introduction. I can stop. That's it. Yeah, so what am my introduction? That's a big one. So I'll answer the last question first because that's the most present on my mind. So for 15 years, I raced a bicycle professionally, 1993 through 2008. And it was a BMX bike, so bicycle motocross. And through those years, the sport became Olympic, and then I was invited to the Pan Am Games for the USA. And I was actually the old guy out there at the time, but I managed to get one last big win in before I retired in 2008. So that's what it was. So yeah, so that was my sport. And then what I'm doing now, I have a doctorate in psychology, I have an MBA, and obviously as a professional athlete. So I blended all three of those things together, and I do a lot of coaching. I do work with Olympic athletes. I'm in the midst of 4 Olympic runs. 3 of them are 90%, 85 to 90% going to make their Olympic teams. Nice. We have 1 on the bubble. And then executive and leadership coaching. And so I blended it all together for Championship Life, which is winning in business, sport, and life. Because it's not enough, in my humble opinion, and in most people's hearts, I believe, it's not enough to just be successful in one area.
Amazing. Dr. Richardson, I mean, you have just opened the whole, so to speak, can of worms. So
good.
When it comes to success, obviously everybody defines it differently.
Yep.
So what are the gaps and what are the difficulties that you see people complaining of wanting to achieve a goal?
Stories. The biggest one is stories. And so there's this loop in our brain, in our head, that we keep telling ourselves why something is so difficult, or why we can't do something, or why we're having trouble. So a coach once said to me, look, you either have reasons or you have results. Now, what I like about that statement is he didn't say what kind of results. Mm-hmm. He said reasons or results, you as a person. So if you're coming up with, and by the way, there might be reasons, I understand. Bad weather can happen. A car accident can happen, right? Out of your control. However, reasons or results. So he didn't say good results or bad results, but what I like about that is whether the results are good or bad, and I'm not even going to say, I don't even like to use the word good or bad, whether the results are something you wanted or didn't want, that is it's about you taking ownership of that, right? And once you can take ownership of that, then we can get to work on, or you can get to work on creating the habits that will give you the best opportunity to get the things you say you want. And I'm very specific about that wording, the things that you say you want, because it's also part of the work is for the individual to define their own success, right? It's up to us as people, individuals. You want to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and be happy with what you do and who you are, and also some of the people that you might surround yourself with.
Amazing. And obviously to be a champ, one requires, enormous amount of time, dedication, and sweat and blood poured into the certain sport to become good at it. Mm-hmm. And obviously, trying to achieve a certain mindset requires as much work, if not more. What is the key success when it comes to changing your mindset? You're going from I'm stuck, I don't know what to do, doc, to, oh, my aha moment?
I think it's a bit different. I wish there was one key, because I would sell it for much more than I make it right now. If there's one key and I had it, it's not in my office, but I actually did literally make a USB drive with a key with all of my, at the time, with all of my worksheets and some of my videos. It's pretty funny that you said key. I wish there were one key. The trick is finding out your key. And by the way, you can have a series of aha moments. I think one of the locks we get into, one of the reasons why we get stuck, is because we get to a certain level. Say you graduate from school and you're working, whatever profession that is, and you're there. And then it's like, once we're there, I think some people are like, well, maybe they thought it would be better, or maybe it's great and they feel guilty because they want something else. Or maybe they just got there and they didn't think about what was next because they're in the midst of being there. So those aha moments can come over and over because we're always growing, evolving, going out into the world, experiencing life. But as it pertains to the mindset, I was working with a client just yesterday, and his mom was actually telling him. She said, you need to get organized and create a schedule. And I was like, it's like, I see where your mom's coming from. I see where she's coming from with a schedule. And I get it. I said, but it's not the schedule you need. I said, she's not really saying you need a schedule, although that would help. I think before you could even get to a schedule, it's about habits. What she's really saying is get some better or good habits. But even before you can get to the good or better habits, it's like, dude, what is it you want? What is important to you, right? So we did an exercise. It's like, okay, take this sheet of paper. What's important to you? I don't care if it's the grass. I mean, you just write it all down, write it all down, write it all right. And then we'll circle some things that stand out, right? And sure enough, it was like money, health, happiness. Like it was just, those main things. It's like, okay, so, and the kid's really good with money, really good with money. It's like, because money's because money's important to you, you actually save. You actually don't, you save. You actually don't go out and spend all your money every time. You actually, all these things. I said, so did you have a schedule for that? I said, did you have are you organized for that? Is there a routine around that? No. You have good habits because it's important enough for you to have money in the bank and have money for your retirement and all this other stuff and buy and be able to drive a nicer car. Great. Good. So, dude, you're wasting your time figuring out a schedule. Figure out what's really important to you. And then from there, then go, okay, what are the habits that will support that? And by the way, you might have some things that are important to you, but you do have some, we all have bad habits because maybe Mexican food is more important at the time.
That's true.
So it's okay, but just be aware of that. And then once you can really get aware and crystallize what's important to you, and I mean really important to you, I talk mindset, but I'm going to be asking you what's in your heart, right? Once you figure that out, what's important to you, then it's like, all right, let's create the habits around that. And then things start to fall in place much better. And that's the aha moment. And even with these athletes, going for the Olympics and, they call me and they want an answer. They want like the key, what am I going to do? How am I supposed to act? It's like, look, my job is to help you be free. I want you to hit that track or hit that event. I want you to be free out there. It might not feel like it on the way, right? Because the freedom's earned. People fight wars around the world for what? Freedom, right? I don't care where you're living, what political policy, what ideology you have. Your freedom, it's a fight for it. Or at least a lot of effort. And I want you to be free. And in order to get there, it begins with, what's important. And then bringing who you are, right? What's in here into that. because the mind is a powerful tool, but it also plays tricks on us, especially when we get involved with something that's very important or that we care about. And so over the course of this training and over the course of becoming professional, and I'm segueing now even from athlete to business professional, we think we have to be a certain way to be a certain way. Now, there are fundamentals. Yes, if you want to be a chiropractor, you might want to go to school and get a degree. I get that. I get that. But no one said within chiropractic, right, once you have the fundamentals, no one said you can't add who you are to your practice, to your profession. You can't, and you can practice the way you want within that. And that's why people come to see you. That's why, right? So it's that freedom within that environment that you express, and that's how you become successful. That's how you attract the people that need to see you, the people that need to be around you, the people that you need to be in contact with. And that's a big amount of trust. Anyways, I go on and I get excited talking about this.
Dr. Richardson, I mean, you just opened a whole can of worms.
Another can of worms.
Listen to this. Now, everybody has this goal and everybody thinks they want to have lots of money. Everybody says that. I mean, I yet have to see somebody saying, you know what, I don't want money. But everybody wants it for a different reason.
Yeah. I actually know a few people who wouldn't mind having less.
Really?
Yeah.
Give them my number.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is they're still responsible, but I say that because I want that to sink in for people.
That's what I was actually coming to.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That the money is always that reason or that story that you were referring to, not the true reason of it, why we want it.
Yes.
So can you talk a little bit about that and cocktail it into the habits which would be beneficial to set one's mindset for true growth as to achieving their best as they're capable to?
I would call it a process of, so ownership is interesting, right? There's an old saying, there's pride in ownership. And I really do believe there is. And one of the biggest things that worries me about, and I shouldn't say worries me, but yeah, it worries me. And also I'm academically interested is where we are in our history, especially in first world nations. There's not an emphasis on ownership, literally. Like this phone, they don't necessarily want you to buy it. You know, it's all about payments. And before you even pay for it, it's like, let's get a new one and put more payments on it.
That's right.
And there's music on the phone, and it's like, oh, but you don't buy the music, just get a subscription to use it. And I was like, wow, like, and I love tech, by the way, but something doesn't sit well with me because it's like, well, if it's not yours, how do you truly value something? Now, granted, it's a phone, it's a commodity. I understand that, but from a mindset perspective, it is a bit scary. So when you talk about this mindset and money, and that shift, it is about ownership. And it's about owning the things you say you want. And also, the other thing about ownership, the best owners know when to let something go. Whether it's a bad investment or leaving the restaurant because of the food is just terrible that night, or whatever it may be, it's learning to let some stuff go, learning to walk away from a deal. Not every deal is supposed to be yours. So as it pertains to money, what I've noticed, regardless of how successful people are in a business sense, I've noticed that again, ownership mindset, right? Different mindset. The people who don't need to work tend to work. The people who actually have to show up to work can't wait to stop working. Generally speaking. And to me, that speaks volumes about mindset. That speaks, I'm not going to judge work ethic, because a lot of hardworking people who have to show up to work, but from a mindset perspective, from a lack mindset to an abundance mindset, we'll say. I don't like to use that word often, but that is a shift. That is a shift. And I'm telling you, everyone I meet who doesn't need to work, they prefer to, because it's not just about the money. It's about the work. Right? And it's not just the work for work's sake. And don't get me wrong, I've met people who it is about the money, but I would even push back with them and say it's not just about the money. There's something else you're getting from getting the deal or doing the deal. Right? And maybe you want to bring this product to the world, maybe it's helping someone else, maybe it just makes you feel good about you, but it's not just about the money. And that's the thing. It's about something bigger than you.
So it's basically, it's not so much of the goal, it's the process that you have to enjoy once you get to the goal, to appreciate what you have achieved.
Yeah, I mean, there's even been studies on this, and I don't know the number. I call it, not me, but it's called FU money. so every person, so there's a number pretty much of it, like level of income, where basically you can pretty much say F you to anybody. Because, and what that means is you can pretty much do what you want to do. Yeah, you might work, but you can pretty much do what you want to do when you want to do it and live the life you want to live. And I don't think that number is as high as most people think. I think for a single person, I think last I checked, it was like 5 or 6 years ago, but I think for a single person, it was like around the 250 range for a single person. And I was like, ah, and then my friend was like, no, he's like, check it out. And then we did the numbers, and he's like, so even if you live here, and even if you do this, and even if you do this, you still have, X amount. And this is like covering for retirement, being responsible too. He's like, you still have this much money to like do whatever you want. Now, if you want to fly private jets, then it's clearly going to be more than 250. If you want to race F1, sure. But you're defining your success, right? And that's why it takes ownership. And so what I see is a lot of people they want to make more. They say, no, I'm going to say they want to make more, because I don't know that they do, but they say they do, right? They say they want more. They say they want, it would be nice if,
But why though, Dr. Richardson, why? Why is it that they are always that of more? I want more.
Well, look, because I think part of it is just who we are as humans. I mean, forget money. Let's go back to pre-money, when we were somewhat nomadic, roaming the land. For some reason, the human species decided to, other than survival, say, let's join tribes, right? Let's get a bigger area, right? Let's have more kids. There's always this kind of sense of, I think we're compelled in our DNA to grow, or to at least want growth. I think in the modern world, it just manifests in a lot of different ways, and so then we have the Industrial Revolution, and then we explore, we oceans and space, and, now the ocean again. So I think part of that is more. I think the other piece is that fantasy of more is also like, isn't much different than us just like flipping through the channels. It's so everyone needs that bit of a like brain, like, and I do that too. Like, it'd be nice if I, went helicopter skiing, but the thing is, for me, I'm careful when I say stuff like that, because I know when I say it, it's like, I'm going to have to make that. I'm going to want to make that happen. That's my deal. That's my deal.
So you have that devotion to yourself.
Yeah, because I don't like to be a liar.
Nice. That's what I was getting at.
Personally, but I'm not trying to take away people's fantasies. But my point is like, look, if most people say it would be nice if, great. But don't say it would be nice if, and then complain that it ain't if you're not doing anything toward it, right? Yeah, it would be nice if I won the lottery, but I don't play. So I don't complain about not being a lottery winner. Now, that's probably like dumbest way to get rich, but my point is, right, the where I want to be and where I am, right, that disconnect, that's the dissonance we deal with every day, whether it's money or health or happiness, right? That's the dissonance, right? Expectation not met. And either we lower the expectation or we raise our level. That's it. And this is the constant game we're playing. That's it. Even think about simple things. Microwave purchase, a car purchase, whatever. Oh, I want the S-Class Mercedes. Maybe the E-Class is okay. I mean, that's, or I want the S-Class, and it's like, you know what? I'm going to get that deal. See?
Now,
I want to be married. Yeah. Maybe I should stop looking for women in the bar and go to the library, right? That kind of thing.
Well, obviously, having successful habits will help. It's exercise that exercise our mind to get used to the pattern of thinking in order to cultivate success. What are some of the exercises or patterns one should at least start doing in order to get that going in their mind?
The best thing you can do is judge other people. Now, I say that tongue in cheek because, look, we've all watched sports on TV. And it's very easy to say, why did the coach, or he should have, or watch out, right? And in our own lives, sometimes we don't have a coach, which is why you might need one, but I digress. But in our lives, it's difficult. Sometimes we forget to look at our own behavior. So the reason why I'm saying this is because one of the best things you can do is to look at other people, like literally armchair quarterback, American football reference, someone else's decisions. Or someone else's choice of words. So I do this quite a bit, especially in office, in corporate work that I do. I'll go into a company, kind of do their strengths, do the assessments, and then one of the things we'll do is we'll have someone else police the other person's language, because I'm a real big believer in changing your language for changing your results. And so
wait. Can you please emphasize on that? Because that is huge.
Yeah, I'm a real big believer in changing your language for changing your results. So like I said, if I say I want to go helicopter skiing, I'm not just saying that. It's like the beginning of a plan to go helicopter skiing. Like it's raining. I would otherwise take this computer and show you my van that has a big cargo box on top that I pretty much bought 2 years ago because I knew that I would be driving with my family to go on this trek to Whistler, Canada from San Diego to go ride bikes, which we did last summer.
Nice.
Like I knew, right? I want to do that. So let's do it. That's it. But the language is big. So I have these people in this company or even in a family police everyone's language. So, and there's a buzzer, not a real buzzer, but a buzzer. And they get to do, and we get to do this exercise. And for the rest of the, you know, especially with the corporate thing, so for the rest of the seminar or workshop, it's like, you get the buzzer. And you can buzz me too. I'm in on it too, right? We're all in training. Anytime you hear would, could, should, can't, have to, got to, right? Even I will, if will is not attached to a date, right? If I say I will go to Whistler one day, when? Right? That thought is nice to have, and maybe that's my like little emotional vacation for a moment. But at the end but if I end up never going and it's always just that, then I'm living where? I'm living in a world of lack, right? And by the way, getting there is fine, but it's really like, I mean, going there and being there is awesome, and we had a great time, but it was getting there that was all the fun for us. So it's policing that language. So if you can do that with someone else, someone that like, especially a teammate or a business partner or a family member that's close, and then you kind of start to see how you talk. So my dad used to do this all the time, or I used to do this all the time as a kid, but he would say, take out the trash. And I would say, I will, right? Now, I don't like to be a liar. I don't think anyone does, but I will is not really a lie, but it's definitely gives me a back door. It's not saying like, I'm not disagreeing with him. I'm not going to disagree with my dad, but I'm also like, I'm involved in what I'm doing right now, which is not taking out the trash. But if he said, son, take out the trash, and I said, I am, that implies that I am, right? Then I'm a liar if I'm actually not getting up to do it. See the difference?
Yeah.
Or if I say I will in 10 minutes, or I will in, you know, at 12 o'clock, that's a specific, then my brain's like, oh dude, 12 o'clock does, now there's accountability. But if it's just, I will, just goes away. So, and people love hitting the buzzer on other people. They love hitting the buzzer on other people. It's like, and then the other person has to stop and go, you know, instead of saying I will, say I am doing this, or I'm in the process of it. And it's so funny to hear literally people's brain gears just, you know, like go to work on addressing their language. But the beauty is the buzzer's on you too. You know, so the buzzer's on you too. So now people are talking and they're like thinking very specifically about how they put their words together. And we're being mindful about what we're saying and how we're saying it. And not only that, it gets us to intention. Right?
No.
And it gets us to intention, it gets us to ownership, and also we start to let some other stuff go. See what I'm saying? See how that comes together?
Yeah.
We start to let some stuff go. Now it's like, you know what? I really don't care about project blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm not that person. Joe, I think you're better at, you know, and then we go back to the strength sheet or the assessment. How about you take care of this and I do this? You know, that's a team setting. But personally, you start to look at yourself. You go, okay, I see it. And then you start to change. So you could just, I mean, and that's I don't want to say it's simple, but we can always look at someone else and judge. So if we're going to do that, and I'm not saying do it maliciously, but if we're going to do that, then we can say, all right, that's what we see. Now let's turn the mirror back on us. And are we, you know, what can we change about our own?
Now, Dr. Richardson, for the way I look at it, worrying about past gives you depression. Worrying about future gives you anxiety.
Yes.
And today is the time that you have to live and plan so you don't worry about the future. Now, I'm sure you have a lot of people come to you and say they're anxious, they have anxiety, it's a family issue, or they try to control it. What are some of the ways that you would generally, obviously not a specific condition, but generally recommend to try to control it to the best of their ability.
Yeah. So we're talking about emotional control here, right?
That's right.
So here's the thing, the line of worry, you alluded to that, right? So future worry, stress, maybe clinical, maybe not, but definitely like stress, anxiety, right? Worry about the past. Definitely like a little bit of longing at best, sadness, maybe clinical depression. And then we go in this loop, worrying about the future. Then it doesn't happen the way we want. Now we're bummed out because it didn't happen. Now we're in this loop of stress and sadness, stress and sadness. So being centered it's your job to be centered. But here is the crux of the issue. No one said it's bad to worry. No one said it's bad to be sad. It's all normal, right? It's the meaning we've given those words. Because, I'll put it this way, stress. Stress is a good one. If you work out, you're doing that for a future reason, right? Health, or to feel better later, or whatever. But you are literally stressing your body. You know, you lift the weight, you are stressing the muscle, right? And it might even hurt. You might actually get home and be like, oh my God, I'm so sore, right? Past, right? So those things are still there. We've just ascribed different meanings based on the context. See what I'm saying? So fear, anxiety is a form of fear. When we're in that, hey kiddo, it's Thanksgiving here, so everyone's home.
I know.
Yeah. So when we're in that, so let me get back to it. So we've basically told ourselves that rules. I need to be perfectly calm to be successful. I can't be worried to do this. If I'm scared, something's wrong. Right. Yeah, you got it. Right? If I'm scared, something's like, well, wait. So you mean to tell me, you don't like, fear, negative, and you can't, but if someone's chasing you down the street with a knife or gun, you're not going to be scared? You're not going to be worried about your future, right?
Yeah.
Living in the next 10 minutes? So, but my question is, what will you do? Will you run? Will you call for help? Will you fight? The point is that negative emotion can serve a positive purpose, right? I totally appreciate you don't like being scared. I totally appreciate you don't like being sad. But what if you let go of that old definition, story, and said, hey, there is some rough stuff that happened to me in the past that it sucked. It's okay that I'm bummed out about that. Oh, and I do love my children, and I do want to pay for college for them. It is a concern of mine. That's normal too. That's fine, right? So now it's like, now what are we doing? We backed out of that line, that worry line, and now we're seeing past. We're seeing past and future, and we're going, okay. Now we're being present. It's like, if you can give yourself just a little bit of room to say, okay, it's okay to be bummed out. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be stressed. It's actually normal. And say, okay, what am I going to do about it? Or what am I doing about it? You didn't hit the buzzer. I said going to, right? What am I doing? What can I do about it? Now we're getting centered again. And if you can give yourself the license to be human, now we've unleashed our power. Because here's the deal. It's a lot of energy to try to not be worried. And there's a lot of energy to try to not be sad. Your dog gets hit by a car, or you miss the parent that passed away. Dude, it sucks. It's sad. And it should be. And I'd be worried about you. If you weren't sad, something would actually be wrong with you. See my point?
Yeah, yeah.
So, and we spend all our time fighting our feelings when the fight is like on the ground. You know, we're going to go to the Olympics in 2020, and those kids, they're going to be in the stadium, and I don't know how many millions of people are going to be watching. I don't know how many, 30, 40, 50,000 people in the stands. And when they announce your name and you're on your face is on the screen and you hear that music as they boom, boom, they go to each, you feel that, I mean, you can't help but be human in that moment and feel whatever it is you feel. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And so if they're not allowed to feel that, and if they're not allowed, if they can't be scared, or if they can't acknowledge that situation for what it is, or if they're fighting that, how are they going to have the energy to race that race? Or just understand that it's part of it? Because the fight is not in not being worried. The fight is in executing what it is you want to do despite how you feel. It actually could be because you are fearful or worried or even a bit sad or angry that the manifestation of what you do, what you produce, is even more beautiful or impactful later on. Think of an artist. And that's the freedom I'm talking about, having that freedom.
Well, Dr. Richardson, honestly, we could talk for days here, and I'm trying to jam pack so much.
Yeah.
You know,
well, I can come back. Not to invite myself, but I'm inviting myself. Yeah.
There's a turkey waiting for you on the table. I'm sure there is. For just to wrap everything up, people seek their better selves differently.
Mm-hmm.
But I always say that as sons, daughters, fathers, wives, brothers, sisters, we are responsible to give our surrounding people the best of our version that we can. You know, I'm trying to become the best version of you. It just doesn't happen overnight. It's like, you know, working out your muscles.
Yeah.
You have to work out on your mind too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in having said that, coaching becomes quite crucial. Can you speak some to coaching? Because my experience has been coaches keep you honest, keep you accountable. The accountability, I will let me down, but I will never let you down.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, I think, you know, it's interesting. There's this kind of mentality, again, this kind of lack mentality where, and you hear it like crabs in a barrel, one person's trying to get out, everyone's trying to pull them down. But I view coaching as the opposite, right? So my family, it's a famous painting, actually, especially in Black America, African American history, where there's a guy reaching up and you just see an arm, and it's like a fence, and then you see a guy reaching down. And the title of it's called "He Ain't Heavy," and I have it in my house, and I love that because not only did I live it in my house, you know, helping to bring other people up, it's just so true of the coaching process. It's like, and by the way, when I say I'm above you, it's not like I'm above you because like I have power over you. It's like I have things that I could teach you, right? Just like, and by the way, everyone has things they can teach anyone. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, look, I'm here, and I want to reach over there and pull you up. And by the way, you better have one hand down to pull the other person up, right? And so this is how we start to stand, right? And I'm literally, right, to understand. My job is to understand. And it's not just like, oh, I'm so sorry your dog died. I'm talking understand, like get under and like understand, right? Like you stand on me, right? That's what I'm talking about, understand. And that's my job, is to understand, is to literally like bring you up. in the best way possible. And it's not only is it the knowledge or the techniques or the assessments, but it's the relationship, right? Because now you're literally experiencing what it is you want to give or produce, right? There's an alignment there. You're literally in that kind of bubble or of trust, right? You're in that bubble of like being stretched, stressed. All of that stuff exists just in that coaching relationship, right? And so if you're successful in the coaching relationship, boop, you just plop out into the world, right? And you can do the same thing. I wish it were rocket science, and I wish I were a rocket scientist. Really, like I said, if I had the key, trust me, I'd sell it at a premium. But it's actually simple. Like the answers are actually there. The answers are there. The answers are out there. The answers are in you. It's just a matter of like how you want to, I'll use a cooking term, marinate the ingredients for your own success.
And all the key words to the success can be implied in your, all aspect of your life, your finances, your family life, your kids, your job, your friendships, and it just goes and on and on and on. Anyway, Dr. J, I am absolutely honored that you took this time. Everybody, this is Dr. Jason Richardson. He is an Olympic psychologist, and a Pan Am gold medalist and Olympic champion, world champion, I'm sorry. This is my absolute honor to have had you here. Hopefully you can come back and give us some more pearls of wisdom. And I love the humor that you put in such a serious talk.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. You have a great day. And yeah, it's time for turkey.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Take care.
Bye now.